Good morning, y'all. Welcome to a Monday. It is 8:34 in the morning on September 9th. Cheers. I just woke up not too long ago. Long enough ago to prepare the forecast for you, but I'm still drinking some coffee. All right, good stuff. Let's get into it. Today's hazards. Thank you, Pivotal Weather, for putting it together today. It's still hot along the coast there in Southern California and along the Colorado River, so excessive heat warnings here. You get further to the north, up in the Pacific Northwest or Eastern Washington, I should say, red flag warnings here. Northern Montana near Glacier, also other parts of Montana into Wyoming. So wind an issue here. Wind and rain starting to be an issue for the southern Texas coast, and we'll talk about that here coming up. And then tropical storm watches also there and just off the coast. But South Padre Island, for example, tropical storm watch. We'll show you tropical system 6 here in a second. And then southern Florida. Looks like you've got a little bit of heat still going on here. All right. Today's weather spotlight takes us to Houston, Texas. Houston, we have a problem. Well, maybe. It depends on the track. So potential tropical cyclone 6. Likely to become a tropical storm today. I looked up the names. I think we're on Francine next. So if it becomes a name storm later today, I think Francine is the name. We'll all find out together for sure. Expect to become a hurricane in the Northwest Gulf by Wednesday. Most likely landfall in Louisiana, however, a track closer to Texas remains possible. So stay alert, Houston. We're talking Wednesday afternoon into Thursday afternoon landfall, probably Louisiana. However, as they point out here, and is probably obvious to you as well, if the track is a little further west, then Texas gets hit harder. A little further to the east, and Texas could get missed. So, something to look out for, but probably Hurricane Francine by the time it makes landfall here by late Wednesday into early Thursday. Of course, we're going to keep you posted as we go. Here is the surface for today. So, potential tropical Cyclone 6 is on the map here in the Bay of Campeche, moving northward. And so there's also a stationary front that's going to help focus those showers, mainly offshore today for the Gulf Coast, but some of those getting to the coast. Another big swath of widely scattered showers from the Four Corners north and then up into Pennsylvania, New York, and the Northeast. Highs today look like this. The cooler air that was in the Midwest this weekend, it was gorgeous here for like the last 3 days. We're going to be back in the mid 80s, but those 70s still hanging in there. Indiana, Northern Ohio, Michigan looks good. Certainly Pennsylvania, New York State, 70s, even some 60s. Same for Vermont, New Hampshire, up into Maine. So that's where the gorgeous fall-like weather is. But still not too bad. Southeast, mid 80s for much of Texas. Then you get up into the plains, that's where we start to see more 90s. Of course, the Rockies cooler, as you would expect with elevation. Still baking in the Southwest. 107 Phoenix today. 111, I believe that's El Centro in Southern California. And even 97 in Sacramento. So still hot in California. Cooling off Pacific Northwest. So not bad for Portland at 79. Lows tomorrow morning. Again, the fall-like temperatures, say West Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, up into Pennsylvania, New York, and up into the Northwest where we see a lot of 40s here and 50s. 50s, though, as far west as central Iowa and up into the Great Lakes. And we even see some 50s down there in Arkansas and Oklahoma and North Texas and West Texas. 50s for lows. Beautiful. And then the West Coast, even though it's been hot in Oregon, 54 for Eugene to start the day tomorrow. Very pleasant indeed. But the desert Southwest still hot starting in the 80s. Tomorrow's surface shows you Tropical System 6, which I think will be Francine by then. If I'm right on the name, I think I am. So let's call it Francine for now, unless I get corrected. And so then we see the heavy rain, flash flooding possible along the Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama Gulf Coast with the heaviest rainfall here. System moving in the Pacific Northwest with some showers there. Highs tomorrow warmer in the plains. We're getting up into the mid 90s. Low 90s return for the panhandle of Texas. Roswell, New Mexico, 91. We see a few more 90s here in Texas and into the southeast. And the coolest, comfortable fall-like air is now really concentrated very far east and northeast, but still not bad, mid 70s for parts of Pennsylvania into New York State. Cooling off Pacific Northwest, so they'll take that. And again, that system moving through. And those high temperatures getting bumped down a little bit, Central California, but still hot in the Southwest. That will change by this weekend. The next 48 hours of rain, again, the focus along the southeast coast. But we do see some pretty good rains possible in New York State, maybe a ½ inch to an inch here in some areas. And for Oregon and Washington coast, we're starting to see some rain enter the picture by tomorrow with up to a ½ inch of rain for the coastal areas there. But the southeast is the big winner for the next 2 days. And right along the coast, I think the biggest amounts we see here are an inch, inch and a half, over 2 inches for parts of Louisiana. And then as you get further inland, the amounts drop off rather quickly. And our surface for Wednesday shows Francine, now a hurricane, off the coast of Louisiana and just to the southeast of Houston. And again, this track can change, so again, we'll keep you posted as well. But this is where we see our hurricane by Wednesday. Up in the northwest, that system bringing some snow, or at least a mixture, for parts of Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. It is getting to be that time of year. I know I'm a little excited. All right. Highs on Monday. Is that what I have here? No. This will be the highs on Wednesday. I just didn't label it. So still hot in the southwest. Not much change in the plains. Maybe a little bit warmer into the Midwest. We see 90 return for, say, Columbus, Ohio. 92 for Nashville. But still some 70s with that rain-cooled air down in Louisiana. And low 80s down around Houston. And then the Northwest cooling off, highs in the 60s and 70s with that system bringing some relief. All right, let's turn to the GFS now, and we can show you not only Tropical System 6, Francine, I hope I have that right, and we'll just watch this move into the southeast, because that's kind of the only name in town here as we go through time. So this already gets us into Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning. There we see landfall. Again, if the track is exactly right, this is Hurricane Francine making landfall, Louisiana, Wednesday afternoon and into the evening. And of course, the heavy rain moving into Mississippi as well is going right up the Mississippi River into Arkansas, northern Mississippi, Memphis, a good soaker, Little Rock, heading your way, southern Missouri, parts of Kentucky. But it is going to just kind of rain itself out as we get into, this is Friday morning. And then it just kind of fizzles a little bit. I mean, that moisture will certainly be around for a chance of some showers and storms here centered around Kentucky, Illinois, and Indiana. But then it just kind of goes away and just widely scattered showers across the southeast by the time we get start Saturday. So we'll show you the weekend real quick. This is later in the day Saturday, so some of that moisture is still hanging around. A chance for some showers and maybe some heavier rain from Kentucky through Tennessee into Alabama. Also back in Oklahoma, we see some rain showers here. And then as we get into the day, this is Saturday night and into Sunday. And this is our best chance of rain here in the southeast and up into the Midwest. I do want to move forward real quick because things get a little bit interesting as we get towards like the 17th, 18th. So this is the night of the 16th, Monday night. And we see an area of showers and storms here moving. Well, we also see some big rains in the southeast, but I want to watch this area here because it kind of blows up for the Central Plains. There we go. And this is the 17th, Tuesday the 17th in the evening, getting into Wednesday the 18th right here. And then by Wednesday night, just some big showers and storms lining up and blowing up, moving from central Nebraska into western Iowa, parts of South Dakota, back down into Kansas, Oklahoma, and into West Texas. And behind that, we see some snow moving in to parts of Idaho and Montana. And so that's just, again, this is 10 days out. So take it with a grain of salt, but these could be the trends that we're looking for as we get into the 17th, 18th, 19th, 8, 9, 10 days from now. All right, highs on Saturday, because we always like to look at the weekend forecast. That's what the weather consultants always told me, is like, people want to know the weekend forecast. So it's going to be hot, Texas, back into the mid-90s, 99 for Wichita Falls. And then 90s poking back into parts of Louisiana, Shreveport at 90. We've got low to mid-80s for much of the Southwest, and pleasant 70s to near 80 as you head into Tennessee and Kentucky and Illinois and Indiana. So very nice here. Warming back up into Ohio, mid-80s, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and then back to the 70s to low 80s for New York State, for example. Meanwhile, back in the West, the heat in the Southwest easing up a little bit. Nobody in the triple digits here. 99 for Phoenix. Celebrate the cool off. Very nice. And cooler in the Pacific Northwest, as our weather pattern will have changed by the weekend. As we get into Sunday, we see not much change in the plains, maybe a degree or two warmer. So mid to upper 80s for South Dakota into Nebraska. Low 80s to mid 80s as you head into Iowa, for example, but some 70s hanging on for Minnesota and Wisconsin and Michigan. 70s to low 80s, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and even into northern Georgia, Atlanta at 80. So very nice for Sunday. And the West is the best if you like the cooler stuff. So 70s for the Willamette Valley, but once you get into elevation, quickly cools off into the 60s and 50s. And the desert Southwest enjoying that cool off. And it looks like 95 for Las Vegas on Sunday. 6 to 10 day temperatures. Well, here's your heat. Again, where it's been coolest this last weekend, northern plains into the Great Lakes. That's our best chance for the warmest above average temperatures. And that goes into the central plains down all the way down into Texas. And then things cool off as we get into the southeast. And then the coolest temperatures along the west coast. And for our precipitation, the hurricane is not reflected here. So it looks like the Francine amounts are left off of this map. But so just generally, we're talking the western half of the country or a little more than that, with our best chance for above average precipitation and along the east coast and southern Texas. And then the dry stuff up there in the Great Lakes and parts of the Midwest. So our hurricane, Tropical Depression 6, or whatever you want to call it, Tropical Cyclone 6, likely to become Francine. And so as that occurs, first of all, we'll make sure I'm right on the name. And so we'll keep you posted on Francine or whatever his or her name is going to be as we go through the forecast. So just keep it right here. We really appreciate you here at the Weather Mike. We'll see you tomorrow.